This video shows you how to use a CO2 canister for CO2 exhalation with METIman Prehospital. A CO2 canister contains gas under pressure, so it's recommended that you wear eye protection whenever working with a canister. It's important to follow all instructions and observe cautions and warnings to ensure safety when handling CO2 canisters. Here's what you'll need: a CO2 canister from METIman Prehospital's inventory kit. Protective eyewear and gloves are optional but recommended. The CO2 canister is inserted into the CO2 regulator, which is in METIman's right midsection, under the abdominal insert. First, unzip the skin on both sides of METIman's abdomen. Pull the skin up towards the chest to uncover the abdominal insert. Lift the abdominal insert and move it aside. The insert is tethered to the simulator, so be careful not to pull too hard. Remove the abdominal support by pulling it straight up out of the slots holding it in place. Here is the CO2 regulator. You may need to pull the ribs back a little bit to be able to reach into the cavity. The regulator is held in place by a pull pin. Pull the pin up to release the regulator. Pull the regulator directly up to remove it from the abdominal cavity. The CO2 canister screws into the socket in the bottom of the regulator. Hold the regulator firmly in one hand. With the other hand, screw the CO2 canister into the regulator socket as far as it'll go. The final turns puncture the CO2 canister, which is necessary for correct operation. Once the canister has been punctured, do not loosen it or remove it from the regulator until it's empty. Doing so could cause freezing burns to your skin. Hold the regulator assembly so the CO2 canister points down. Lower the assembly back into the tray in the abdominal cavity. Push down on the pin to secure the regulator to the tray. Replace the abdominal support by inserting it into the slots. Replace the abdominal insert. Pull the skin back over the abdominal insert and zip up both sides. A correctly installed CO2 canister provides enough CO2 for approximately 15 minutes of CO2 exhalation, depending on the respiratory status. Before removing a CO2 canister, be sure that it's empty. If you're unsure, CAE Healthcare recommends that you wear eye and hand protection to protect yourself from possible release of freezing gas or liquid. To remove an empty CO2 canister, unzip the skin and pull it aside. Then remove the abdominal insert. Remember not to pull too hard on the tether that attaches the insert to the simulator. Remove the abdominal support by pulling it straight up out of the slots holding it in place. Pull the ribs back to access the CO2 regulator. Remove the pin to release the regulator. Pull the regulator assembly directly up to remove it from the abdominal cavity. It's recommended that you wear gloves to remove the canister from the regulator. Hold the regulator assembly firmly in one hand. With the other, slowly unscrew the CO2 canister from the regulator. A small relief hole on the side of the regulator may release any remaining CO2 in the system. Gas release could be noisy, but it will not harm the system. However, you should wear protective clothing to protect your skin against possible release of freezing gas or liquid. Continue unscrewing the canister until it's free from the regulator. If a new canister is needed, insert the new canister as described in the first part of this video. If a canister is not needed, simply replace the empty regulator and insert the pin. This video showed you how to use a CO2 canister with METIman Prehospital. If you need more information, please consult the METIman user guide or call CAE Healthcare customer service at 1-866-462-7920 or at one of our international numbers if appropriate. If you found this video helpful and would like to see more, visit our website at www.caehealthcare.com.